I generally take time out when I'm going through major upgrades. And I can tell you that I've been making huge mistakes in my path of spiritual awakening. Huge mistakes. And it's like every day is a new life. It's like every day it is something different that I'm feeling, I'm realizing, and I'm growing with it. And the inability to accept and the inability to evolve with that knowing becomes a major roadblock. And the biggest mistake that I've been doing in my path of spiritual awakening was that I was trying to force in a lot of things, including spirituality. I was trying to force in a lot of spirituality also. Do this in this way, in that way. And there were many things that I was doing, like 50% mind, 50% heart, and it was like a mix of everything, right? And what I eventually realized is that it is about your state of life and your body as an indicator, right? I've spoken so many times about it, and it is so easy, right, to digress from the path. What you're feeling, like your heart has to drive the path, right? That is what is the core essence of spiritual awakening. Forget about spiritual, just awakening. The part, see, we are putting spirituality to give it one tag that okay, it is approved by God. Let us just say that everything is approved by God. Even people living in the material world and doing things, that's also approved by God. And your awakening, the moment you get awakened and the moment you start walking this path of awakening, figuring out things, dealing with your traumas, understanding who you are, understanding a little bit about your role in this world, that figuring out yourself and the figuring out of the material world outside, everything is awakening. You want to label it spiritual awakening or not, that's up to you. Because in retrospect, before I started my spirituality, my awakening had started. Before I started getting into practices and things like that, my awakening had already started. And the first moment where I felt that my body and my heart and my mind, everything was trying to shout and tell me something was when I was in a conference. And typically, I was in my charming self, in my dynamic self. I was mixing with people, talking to people, chatting with them, becoming, the center of things. I talk to people. I like doing that. When I came into my hotel room, everything was so noisy. Like my head was literally splitting. It was not a migraine, it was not a headache. It was like shattering noise. It was like I was in a reality which my soul is rejecting. It wasn't something like major. It wasn't something like really painful or something, but my soul was rejecting script from that moment. And the point is that the whole thing about awakening is that you realize that you are so much more than the societal script. There is, and of course it is directed by God, of course, there is no doubt to it. But there is no labels. Spiritual awakening has no labels. And if you just, or if I had just let my heart guide me, or my day-to-day state of life guide me, I think I would have made much more progress, right? Again, in terms of progress, I'm thinking. But that's the truth. And when I say heart led, it is not emotions. It has to be very clear. Emotions carry a lot of baggages. When I say heart led, is what is what is my heart wanting to do? How do I feel about the situation? Am I forcing myself in the situation? Or am I letting my life, my day, my everything evolve from a point of safety that I feel for myself? In real sense, that's what awakening is. Until you do not integrate this well, this way of life, life is gonna show you through different challenges, external challenges, health challenges. For some reason, I'm not able to articulate this also. Probably my throat chakra is stuck, but I'm not able to articulate what is there in my mind. I'm not able to articulate. But the point is that I don't even feel the need to articulate. I don't even feel the need to tell anybody, explain things to anybody. Like, I don't care about your spiritual awakening. I just want to figure out my path. Because every day when I figure out my path, and every day when I speak from my this state of authenticity, it's not me telling you that you have to do this, that. It's about what you pick up from my journey of spiritual awakening. Because ultimately, your soul's blueprint or the script is so unique. It doesn't require anybody else's validation. And thankfully, when I created the frameworks of 12 Nights of Transformation, I only stuck to states of life, psychological states of life. It was not about you, it was not about me, it was not about life, it was not about 3D, it was only about the psychological states of emotions. Those psychological states of emotion can be very different from very individual. I do have a worksheet also with me, but I did not release that worksheet because that worksheet again, and the questions and the framing again limits your mind. So I tend to give that worksheet only towards the end of the journey, where I ask you, do you want to evaluate it further? Right? When you go through those psychological states of mind, there's a revelation that happens inside you. And I want you to draw meaning from that revelation, not the two questions that I'm asking you. Right? But if you are still stuck in any of those phases, is when I come, I speak to you, I help you, I guide you, I do all of that things. But again, me giving you two questions and your soul's blueprint having the capability to write 5 questions, meaningful questions for yourself that can really improve your life, is much more powerful. That is what I am learning in my journey of spiritual awakening, is that I have to listen to my heart, I have to listen to my body, I have to listen to my path. And this awakening is so much more than any relationship that I have. And of course, when you are awakening, you feel that, my family should come along with me, my soulmates should come along with me, my twin flame should come along with me, my children should come along, everybody should come along with me. But the idea is not for you to gather people. The idea is for you to evolve so thoroughly in your path that your evolution becomes the guidance, not really you telling people that this is the path, or become spiritually awakened or do these practices. So last few days had been really intense for me on this journey, and I want to take out time for myself. I want to take out time for my integration. I want to be more in the now than anything else. And again, if there is one thing that I want to tell you in the path of spiritual awakening that can truly help you align with your vision, with your purpose, with your life, with everything, is that be receptive to your state of being. Number one. Number two, align with your higher self. These two indicators are like massive, massive. There is no other way, right? You may look for answer here, there, wherever, but you will find answer in these two majorly. We are like very self-sustainable spaceships. We're floating in this cosmos. We're self-sustainable. Everything is within us. That from realization to really implementation takes time, right? So I want to leave you with this feeling. Again, I always say that you're awakened or you're not. If you're not awakened, this video is not for you. If you're spiritually awakened and you're struggling with integration, ups and downs, highs and lows, of course, the 3D world can distract you, and so is somebody else's spiritual world can also distract you. What is your spirituality talking to you, right? It has to be rooted in dharma, but your state of life and your higher self. Please integrate dharma, state of life, and your higher self. What are they trying to tell you? What is the message that they're trying to give you? If you keep overlooking that message, the universe will have its way to show you that, dude, wake up, right? You sleeping off within a spiritual awakening also. It's like, how many times do you need to wake up one after another, right? But accept it as a path's evolution. It's okay. But I really felt like making this video because I'm going through something very deeper and I need the time off. I need the time to integrate, and I want to stay in this state for some time now. And I wish you all the best. Listen to yourself. Listen what your higher self is trying to communicate. Okay? Bye.